Hey everyone, it is physics. Yes. So, what we're looking at now is work and energy. Work. What is work? Work is when you do stuff that you don't feel like doing. Work might be schoolwork, but that's pretty irrelevant to physics. What we're talking about here in physics is work. The definition of work in physics is when you transfer energy. So if I lift this pen from this height up to that height, it is showing that I am doing work against gravity. I'm moving this pen against the gravitational field. I'm doing work on it. It takes energy to move it from this point to this point. So in a physics sense, work is defined as work equals force times distance. Distance is S. I don't know why distance is S, but it is. So work is equal to the force applied multiplied by the distance through which that force acts. Now you've got to be careful with this, because sometimes work isn't done when you think perhaps it should be. Like the moon orbiting the Earth, you think, well, the Earth's supplying a gravitational force and the moon is moving, therefore there must be work being done. But no, because the moon is moving perpendicular to the direction of the force. The force is towards the Earth, but the moon is always moving off in orbit around the Earth. It's not moving in the direction of the force, so the Earth does no work on the moon and the moon does no work on the Earth, because they're not moving any closer together. Okay, so normally we just say work equals force times distance, but the distance must be in line with the direction of the force. Okay, so that's good. Now there's another situation, that is when you get something like an expanding gas. So this is a piston out of an old motorbike that I used to have, and as you can probably tell, this piston isn't in great condition. It's got a whacking great hole in the top of it from when it blew up one time. So anyway, the way it normally works is there's a cylinder, which is an enclosed space, and then there's a piston sitting inside the cylinder. And an explosion happens in the cylinder, and that forces the piston out in this direction, and that helps move the motor, turn the motor, which drives your motorbike. So what happens is the gas expands, and as that gas expands, that expanding gas does work on the piston. So how much work? Well, it's kind of like this. If this is the cylinder, and here's the piston, and it moves from there back to there, it moves this distance, call it the distance x if you like, then there's a change in volume. So what happens is, we know work equals force times distance, but we also know that the force is related to pressure. So pressure equals force divided by area. When you look at a gas, an expanding gas, or a gas that's in a cylinder, the pressure in that cylinder will be equal to pressure equals force divided by area. So force equals pressure times area. So the work done will equal pressure times area times distance. I've suddenly started using D for distance instead of S, but never mind, you cope with that. Now, you guys are bright enough to know that area times distance just equals volume, doesn't it? It equals a change in volume. So where we get to is a formula: work done equals pressure times change in volume. Work done by an expanding gas equals the pressure of the gas multiplied by the change in volume. So if my piston moves back 5 centimeters, that will cause a certain change in volume. If you know the pressure, and if the pressure stays constant, then we can calculate the work done by the gas. Pressure times change in volume. There we go. Good stuff.